Welcome into the MASN All Access Studios for another edition of our newer segment called 5-4-30. I'm Annie Klaff alongside MASN insider Brendan Mortensen. Brendan, you know the drill, but for those who are watching for the first time, I'm going to ask Brendan 5 questions, and he only has 30 seconds to answer them. But it's an exciting time here in Birdland after they've won 5 straight. Yeah, the Orioles are rolling a little bit. They have won 8 of their last 10 games, 5 in a row. They just took 2 out in Seattle against a really good Mariners team. So the vibes are coming back a little bit. There's still a big hole to climb out of, but feeling a lot better here in Birdland. Right, and lots of positives to talk about here. So I got a lot of questions based on those. So we'll start with the first question. It's revolving around Heston Kjerstad, who was not intended to be an everyday outfielder, but as injuries struck the lineup with Colton Cowser, Cedric Mullins, Tyler O'Neill, Ramon Laureano, he's gotten that everyday opportunity. Are we finally getting a chance to see the power bat that was advertised from Kjerstad as a prospect translate when he gets everyday opportunity? Yeah, it's a bit weird this season because we've seen the power flashes from Kjerstad over the past few years in fewer opportunities. Now he has more opportunities and he just hasn't put it together as well this year, but we're starting to see it here over the last few weeks. We know the bat is there. This is who he was coming out of Arkansas. It's who he was throughout his minor league career. So good to see Heston Kjerstad finally coming along a little bit. This is who he can be, a slugging corner outfielder, a powerful lefty bat in the middle of the Orioles lineup. And he had 3 straight games with really great performances at the plate. But you can't really talk about this winning streak without talking about the starting rotation and the pitching staff as a whole. In the last 10 games, there's a 2.69 ERA. So what has changed specifically from this starting rotation in the last 10 games or so? You know, it's kind of funny because it's the same starting rotation that it was in the beginning of the season. The numbers are just way, way better. Charlie Morton's curveball is a big thing that we have talked about a lot. When the curveball is working, Charlie Morton is better. Dean Kramer, a notorious slow starter, has really picked things up. Cade Povich has had some really nice flashes as well. And you get a healthy Zach Eflin back. I know there were 2 blow-up starts that were uncharacteristic for him. And then Tomoyuki Sugano has just been Tomoyuki Sugano. He has been excellent all season long. So it's really not differences in the rotation itself. It's just a lot of guys figuring things out over the course of the season and finding a groove a little bit, and sometimes that's all you need. And Sugano, you mentioned, has looked like Sugano and exactly as advertised from when they picked him up in the offseason from Japan. The first phase of All-Star voting opened up yesterday, but pitchers aren't in that phase. That comes from a player ballot in the commissioner's office. But can you expect to see Sugano make the All-Stars come that time? Yeah, it's going to be a tall task. I mean, if you get to the end of the season or halfway through the season in this case, and Sugano still has an ERA just over 3, you would count that as a really excellent season. However, he's in the American League where there are currently 5 starters with an ERA below 2. Sugano's ERA, as good as it is still, I think, 15th or 16th in the American League at this point. So it's still a really, really good figure. But if the ERA is not towards the elite half of things and the strikeout numbers aren't there as much, I think it's going to be an uphill battle, but that doesn't take away just how good the first half of his season has been. And you hope it continues that pattern as well for some consistency in the starting rotation. But back to the All-Star conversation, we had thrown out some names at the beginning of the season. Obviously, some things haven't gone that way. But at this point in time, could you pick any position players? Who would it be to make All-Star at this point in time? Ryan O'Hearn. He is the best designated hitter in the American League. He leads all DHs in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS. He leads batting average and on-base percentage by a country mile. OPS is the same way. I know Rafael Devers has had a great season in Boston, but Ryan O'Hearn is flat out the best DH in the American League. I think there's a strong case for Jackson Holliday, too. He is in the top 3 or 4 in just about every important offensive category among qualified second basemen in the American League, and he just keeps getting better as he continues to get everyday reps. So those are the 2 that I would say have very, very strong cases. I think Ryan O'Hearn should be nearing lock territory. Those guys certainly leading this Orioles offense this entire season. Jackson Holliday proving a name for himself. Someone that is kind of starting to do that is Coby Mayo. He's gotten 3 runs scored in each of the last 3 games. What have you seen from him at the plate and on defense in this most recent stint in the big leagues? It's been tough for Coby Mayo to find his footing over the past few seasons because it's, okay, where is he playing defensively? How long is he going to be up in the majors? Because usually he's been up as an injury replacement for somebody.
And now it seems like Coby Mayo is going to have an opportunity, unfortunately, with the extended absence, it sounds like, of Ryan Mountcastle at first base. That is a very natural place for Coby Mayo to slot into as a power-hitting, right-handed bat who can play some first base for you. I think if you keep him to that first base DH role with Ramon Urias at third with Jordan Westburg on his way back, maybe that'll help him settle a little bit at the dish. He just needs reps. The bat is going to be there. It's elite stuff. We have seen it in AAA Norfolk. It's going to translate eventually. He just needs the opportunities to continue to do that, and we've seen it with hard contact lately. Coby Mayo's a dude, and we're going to see it translate as he continues to get opportunities. I know that was over 30 seconds, but it was deserving of over 30 seconds.
He's one of the top prospects for a reason.
Yeah.
But if the Orioles can get 2 sweeps in a row against the White Sox, and then Game 3 here coming today in Seattle, then that would be huge for the trajectory of the season. But that'll do it for this edition of 5-4-30. I'm Annie Klaff, and this is Brendan Mortensen. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.